Okay, it's 7 o'clock. I'll call
I
the
don't want it.
June meeting of Thompson Planning and Zoning to order.
Better. Why do you think I'm in a low season?
Folks, crosstalk, we're recording.
All right, we're in session.
I know it's summer. Kids out of school.
Okay, I'll call the meeting to order and roll call and seating of alternates.
Beaver, Valley Langley's,
Dave Buklowski. Ray Williams.
Jane Salty.
John B. Lanky.
Had to look and see who it was.
Huh?
You got a mirror in there, so you see who it was.
Yeah, I had to look twice, yes. Sorry about that.
Alvin Hill. Randy Blackmer, no seat. Brian for Mr. Brody Brown.
Oh, and you've got Kai's online
Oh,
too.
Kai's is online. Okay, well, I can't see that.
Yeah, so Kai's is online and she can also be seated because there's no John Rice.
Kai's, you're John Rice tonight.
Well, you're better looking though.
All right. The baby and I will be John Rice.
There you go. All right, under citizens' comments, state your name and address, 3 minutes speaking time unless otherwise directed by the chair. Please address comments to the chair in a civil and respectful manner. The public hearing, PZC 2319, Town of Thompson, 815 Riverside Drive, Planning and Zoning Commission application for Town of Thompson zoning regulations to correct zoning districts for certain parcels to reflect access to public utilities. Article 2, Section 9 amendments. Oh, I'm sorry. We'll back up and do that now before we start the public hearing.
So is the public hearing now open, Mr. Chairman?
Yes, public hearing is now open.
What do we got?
You want to explain the
I can do that. Just so for the benefit of the public, when the town overhauled its zoning codes, some new districts were created. And when we did that, because it essentially affected every parcel in town, there were a handful that were missed, roughly 40. They were all sort of border parcels. For the most part, parcels which were inappropriately put into the RRAD. The RRAD is a zone that requires 40,000 minimum square foot lots because it has no access to public utilities. The bulk of those inappropriately zoned properties were put in the RRAD when they should have been put in the CRD, where the minimum lot size is 4,500 square feet, which reflects the access to public utilities. There was a very small number of parcels on Klondike and Rachel, which were put into the DMRD instead of the CRD. The DMRD is the Downtown Mill Rehabilitation District. Also requires 4,500 square foot minimum lots. But has more allowable uses. And Cindy called to my attention that those parcels on Klondike and Rachel probably should have the less intensive, more residential only uses included. I agreed with that rationale, and that's why you'll see some of those there. There were a couple of properties on Thatcher Road, which were in RRAD, which should have been in the DMRD because of the presence of Teague and some of the other multifamilies on that property, on that street. It was considered that that was more appropriate. I would ask when it comes to it, that the commission amend the list of parcels that we have here to add two that were missed when I did this list because of an oddity in the parcel maps. And that would be two parcels owned by Munford Construction LLC. The reason they weren't caught is because they have no number address at all, not even a zero. So when I did a search for 0 Thompson Hill Road, they didn't come up. So that is map block lot 635815, account number 103780 and account number 103781. All of the parcel owners were sent a letter explaining the purpose of the rezone. I can see at least one person online who is one of the affected property owners, at least one in back, and there might be some others here as well. So that is the background, and the public hearing is now open. Ray, did anybody actually sign up for?
No.
No? Okay, so is anybody here to provide comment on the public hearing?
Yes, sir. Name,
Jeff Halliwell,
good evening.
good evening. I just think I've owned that piece of property on Buckley Hill Road for 25 years, and I think this is a good plan to get organized as far as density and zoning, so I'm in favor.
Any of the commission members have any comments? Ray?
Weren't we gonna switch some of the ones that were up on Bonnet Acres that were in with the electricity and the city sewer, and there's no way to be hooked to that up there? I thought there was a couple roads up on Bonnet Acres side that we were gonna to switch.
If those are the ones I'm thinking of, the parcels in that area that we were considering rezoning for CRD, they were being considered because it was assumed that they had access to Webster's water and sewer.
Right, but they don't have it, but isn't it already switched from the last time when you switched to zoning?
I think those ones are in the Lake District. They're either in the Lake District or the RRAD. I'd have to look at the individual
I thought we
addresses.
talked about that before, that there was a couple of
Yeah,
them that were supposed to be including in this switch.
We definitely had considered them, but because of the lack of utility access, of course, I took that
Well,
list out.
they didn't have they won't get the access to the Webster.
Right, but I think they were already switched that, like they had that access.
No,
No.
It was being, at one point, it was being considered way
I
back.
misunderstood.
No, it wasn't a misunderstanding. It was just that that's the way it was for a long time, from what I remember, way back, that part of Bonnet Acres had the opportunity, if it was gonna be feasible. Webster was gonna take them into the system, but now they can't because they have enough growth. So, it would have been feasible back 20 years, 25 years ago, but now it's not. So that's why it won't happen, Ray. I'm the commissioner.
I think I originally brought it up, right, and that's, yeah, and then Dr. Sharma came in for that development.
Right,
We found
Right,
out-
yeah.
Yeah, they weren't taking any more
Yeah.
because they were
Right.
full.
Yeah,
Um,
so I brought it up.
Well, the growth,
the
they
growth,
reached their
yeah,
growth.
right. Where's Mumford Construction? What road is that?
he's got a total of 4 on here, 2 at 0 Thatcher Road
Okay,
and 2 at 0 Thompson Hill Road, which are essentially behind Northeast Sand and Gravel here.
yeah,
And he did confirm with the building office, they do have the hookups available, or they will have the hookups available when he develops.
so
Yeah,
now,
because it runs right by there.
Okay.
So anyone, any comments, questions? Commission members?
I think this is
Yeah.
on mine too, is no.
Ms. Saad, I know that you're on the list. Did you join the public hearing to contribute any comment? You just wanted to listen in? You're on mute.
Yes, sorry about that. I wanted to listen in because I really don't even have a clear understanding of what is going on with this, so sorry about that.
No worries at all. And if your questions aren't answered here during the meeting, you can always contact me during office hours at town hall.
Okay, great. I would love that. Thank you.
Any other comments?
Yes, I have a question. Were these people notified about the changes?
Yes, sir. I sent a letter to all of the affected parcels. I only had one or two come back undeliverable, and I was able to get them to the people that they weren't delivered to. So as far as I am aware, we did not send it with certified, so I don't know who may have opened it, ignored it, thrown it away, but I know they were sent.
Bill Warner?
Just have a question. Did you send it to the butters of the properties you changed?
We did not send it to the abutters.
Because typically, if you're gonna change zoning of a property, you also allow the butters of that property to be aware of.
That is required when there is a single subject parcel. When we did the rezone, it was determined actually that we didn't have to send the letters out at all. We did this as an extra courtesy to let the affected property owners know what the intent was so that they could call and ask us questions.
Any other questions? Hearing none. You ready to vote?
Make the motion, we
somebody's gotta
close
make
the public hearing.
Okay. Motion made and seconded to close the public hearing. We'll start with Mr. Santos.
Frank Santos, yes.
Dave Pawlowski, yes.
Charlie Langley's, yes.
Alvin Hill, yes.
Mike Criddle abstain.
John B. Lindsay, yes.
Jane Salzy, yes.
Ray Williams, yes.
Guys,
Kaiser Levesque, yes.
Randy Blackmer, yes. Motion passes. One abstention. The remainder or yes votes.
So now the commission can discuss and vote on them.
Yeah.
So that was just the
Yeah.
motion to close.
Okay, any further discussion from the commission?
Good.
Everyone good?
I don't know, I have concerns. I don't remember when we changed it that we didn't have to notify them by certified mail. And I think we should have notified the abutters also. Is it possible to push this off till next month? I mean, it's nothing major anyways.
The commission has that option. When we did the rezone, we did, the rezone of the whole town, we did check with council. And they did advise that the commission did not have to do either letters or anything like that. So this is sort of the follow-up to that. But you do have the option to push it off a month if the commission prefers.
You-
Make your choice.
I'd rather just discuss it first. I mean, do people feel this should be pushed off? Or I'll make the motion, we push it up a month just so that we make sure everyone is notified.
Yeah, because I have a question about that too. Yes, it goes in the mail, but like you said, Tara, some people just look at something and throw it in the trash before they, even read it.
So you're gonna send them another one so they can throw that in the
No,
trash and
no,
not read it.
certified so that they have to have it in their.
Were these
hands.
certified? Well,
They were not. I did follow up with phone calls wherever I could find a
Okay.
phone number. Phone numbers are not the easiest thing to come up with. I probably reached about a third of them. I did have some callbacks. And like I say, the only two that came back as undeliverable, I was otherwise able to get in touch with them.
And did the citizens have any comments either way?
The folks I reached were generally pleased with it. I mean, the implications for their parcels are either neutral or favorable, because the minimum lot size requirement goes down to 4,500 square feet. What that does is it creates more of the parcel as excess land, which means it gets assessed at a lower rate. I don't know too many people who'd be upset about getting a slightly smaller tax bill. In most cases, you're talking about tens of dollars at most, but in some of the larger parcels, it could make a difference. And then, of course, they may, in some cases, be eligible to subdivide if they wanted to, but obviously, again, no requirement to do that. And, you know, that's just a broad possibility. The individual parcels that could be possible or not possible.
I'm just thinking, I don't want somebody to come back and say, hey, you didn't notify me. You know, that's,
All right, if you,
And if you do.
I know, it's
if
hard.
you want to put this off, on a motion,
I make the motion to push it up a month, just so people can have a further discussion on it.
Or be doing a P and an M.
is there a second?
I'll second it.
We'll start with you.
So before you vote on that, can I clarify then what it is that you're actually asking me to do if we're pushing it off another month?
Notify the abutters.
What would that
Could we,
constitute a lot of
That-
butters and stuff?
Right, so this is the reason why these rezones don't require the towns to do it, because the number of letters that go out end up being very costly.
But the thing is, but you really did all out effort to notify everybody, and like anything else, if they decided to throw it in the ground file, that's on them, not us. But it was sent.
Right, and you notified. The affected people,
Mhm.
if you could just notify the abutters. Now, I'm sure it's gonna be a moot point, but it's better off to, see what
Cross
they,
your T's
Yeah.
and dot our i's.
So
just to notify the
just
abutters.
so you know, that's gonna be a few hundred letters that the commission is paying for.
How much a pop?
I'm not saying sure.
Not certified, but
I'm
just
not-
the letter.
Just
So it's 60
60
cents a pop or whatever they are now. I don't even know, 55 cents a pop.
And we got our secretary over there, treasurer, and he's got to worry about the budget.
Next month.
All right.
budget.
So
I'm thinking of it, dude.
you vote on it because the motion has been made, but just understand that the ramifications of voting to notify the abutters are a couple of $100 spent on postage.
You guys are just, this is not a legal question for you guys. This is more of a courtesy.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's a legal question or not. I mean, you have to notify, if I want to do something on my land, I have to notify my abutters.
That's correct, for an individual address, but when the town does a wholesale rezone, right, that requirement is essentially waived because of the impracticality of it,
Okay, well,
right? So,
We
so
may go-
when I did the letter to the affected property owners, that was as a courtesy, so that they would understand the implications for their own properties.
Which we didn't really have to notify, to be honest.
Correct, we did not have to, that was an extra effort.
Well, it's better to be extra because, we had some people who were saying we're taking people's rights.
all right, so that was extra. Now you want an extra. The vote is whether we need to notify the abutters.
And push this off to next month, yes.
Well,
No,
so
no,
the
no,
the motion's been made and seconded, so now either continue to discuss or close discussion.
Either
and vote.
voted up or down, the other.
Yeah.
Right, those in favor of sending the abutters,
Go roll.
Notification.
sending the abutters a notification of the changes, will say aye. Mr. Santos,
Santos, no. Dave Walsky, no.
Charlie Langlois, no.
right?
Hill, no.
Oh,
Mike Coco, yes.
I'm gonna say no, John B. Lane.
James Halsey, yes.
I'm gonna say no.
Guys,
Guys or Levac, no.
Randy Blackmer, no.
Okay.
Did you keep track of the counts? It would definitely was voted down.
It definitely was, and I know who voted yes at the very least, which means I can figure out who voted no.
Okay. Motion fails. Moving on, citizens' comments.
So no. So now you've got the motion.
I'm sorry.
Now you've got the public hearing itself. Because it hasn't been pushed off,
All right, so
or
now you got me confused.
so as a part of discussion of public hearing,
Yeah,
you had the motion and the second to potentially push off and notify the abutters. That motion failed. So the application itself, 2319, is still on the table for action by the commission.
Okay. Does everybody understand that? Good.
Make a motion to approve PZC 23-19.
I'll second that.
Motion made and seconded.
Just for a quick discussion. Sure, I'm seeing 0 Thatcher Road on this list. I don't know if we need to add that.
No, it's not 0 Thatcher. It's the two that are,
Okay, I thought you said 0 Thatcher, so just, should I reference account numbers just to make it clear?
no, it's 0. It's the two handwritten ones there. 0
But
Thompson.
it's Thompson Hill Road. Yeah, so should I just say? For the amendment of the motions, say account number 0.
Oh, yes, yes, please do.
All right, so I will add account number 103780 and account number 103781 to the list of affected aggregates.
And the property owner is aware.
Okay, so a vote to approve, a yes vote is to approve. Roll call, Brian. You
Yes,
said
Mike
yes.
Santos, yes. Dave Plesky, yes.
Sally Langlois, yes.
Alvin Hill, yes.
Mike Truckle, no. John Beeling, yes.
Kaiser, oh, sorry.
Okay.
Dave Salstein, no.
Williams, yes.
Guys,
Kaiser Levac, yes.
Randy Blackmer, yes.
Same result.
So, okay, motion passes. Then we adopt PZC 2319. Now it's citizens' comment.
No.
Now it's citizens' comments.
Any questions, comments from the, yes,
Sorry, I missed the first 6 minutes of this, I apologize.
I'm sorry, state your name, please.
My name is Stephanie Floss. I'm at 49 Rachel Drive. I just wanted to know, how is this affecting my property value? And I also have some safety concerns.
So there's no, so you were on one of the technically the public hearing's closed, but it's fine, we'll go into it. You were on one of the parcels that was changed from DMRD to CRD. There is no dimensional change to the dimensional requirements from that zone. The parcels that are on Rachel and Klondike that were included on the list were added because the ZEO called out that the DMRD zoning, which currently applies to your property, essentially had more allowable uses than she felt was appropriate there, that we should reduce it down to the primarily residential uses as opposed to having some of the retail hospitality. And based on her argument, I found that rational and made the suggestion, but it's apples to apples in terms of the dimensional requirements. DMRD, CRD, both have 4,500 square foot minimum zone because they have full access to public water and sewer.
Okay. And that lessens your taxes, is what you're saying?
It can, in many cases would, the way the assessments work, it's based on the base unit for the zone. So if the base unit was 40,000 square feet, which most of these properties were, reducing the base unit to 4,500 square feet means that more of the parcel is excess land. Excess land is assessed at a lower rate. Now, in your case, again, it's apples to apples, so there's probably no effect on yours. Whatever undeveloped land over 4,500 square feet is already on your parcel should already be assessed as excess. But for specific assessment questions, you would want to talk to the assessor.
There is also, I heard there was a apartment building that might be going up in the neighborhood. I'm not sure about that. And the road to access that apartment building is in a spot where it's not only disruptive to my neighbor, but the way the road comes down, and there's a very fast blind corner right there. If that building was allowed to be made, it's gonna make it a very dangerous corner. And my bedroom is like right there in the hitting zone, if that were to happen.
So that application hasn't come in front of the commission yet, so there's nothing they can really comment on it here, but your comments now are part of that record. If there were to be a multifamily property of 3 or more units, I think is the threshold, a public hearing would be required, so it would be that same process where it would be noticed and you would have the opportunity to give your comments at that time. Okay.
Any other comments from the audience? Hearing none, we'll move on to approve the minutes of the last meeting.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I've got one correction.
Okay.
In
Glad you jumping on
the list of who was here, my name isn't there. Since I ran the meeting, it probably should be.
Good idea.
Got that, Kevin?
I'll amend my motion, just, thank you, guys.
it.
Second.
You didn't even.
Sorry that I didn't.
You didn't even pick up on it.
Okay. Hearing no other additions, corrections, omissions, motion to approve would be in order.
We already have the motion.
Second. And
Brian St. Joseph.
Dave Flosky, yes.
Sally Langley's, yes.
Alvin Hill, yes. Mike Vogel, yes.
John B. Lindsay. I was hoping to find a few more things.
Jane Salty, yes.
Ray Williams, yeah.
guys,
Kaiser Levesque, yes.
and Randy Blackmer, yes. Motion is approved. Applications received, PZC 23-24 applicant Francisco G. Morano, 279 Lowell Davis Road. Map 99, block 29, lot 24.
No, it's just like easier than your school. I have,
Zone RRAD requesting a 2-lot subdivision according to amended subdivision regulations, May 20th, 2023. Article 3, section 4A. I believe there was a note that was not gonna. This is the one that was gonna be would require a
it
subdivision.
is a subdivision. It is not a re-subdivision. That was the
That was the hang-
the controversy last time.
You want me to bring up mine?
At some point, yeah.
What have you got, Dave?
So. Because. Lowell Davis is a scenic road. And the proposed. Driveway entrance is through a stone wall.
And actually I asked, there's gonna be no development done right now. But I spoke to the surveyor and I said, there's a break already in the stone wall. Right next to it, and that's where I anticipated it would go when, there was development, but they didn't, they said they would do that when they redrew the map, but there's nothing planned now. This is just to put the land in 2 parcels for my 2 kids.
Yep, yeah. I mean, the only sticking point, and we went through the attorney with it, was because it involves a scenic road and with the stone wall, and where the subdivision application is drawn, where that driveway approaches, it would impeach on that stone wall.
Right.
So really, this, before we could even approve it, it needs to go to a public hearing for that subdivision, for
What
that.
if
scenic
it's
road.
redrawn to use the break in the stone wall that's existing?
How wide is it?
I don't think that's up to us, right?
Well, I mean, you have an option. You could do, off your existing driveway, you could do a shared driveway.
No,
Okay,
it's not where,
So-
I mean, here, I'll show you.
The easel.
We don't have to
Yes,
stay.
we don't have, yeah.
Yeah, this is it right here. Good area.
next
Oh, I
one.
had it, I
If you
looked
go to
at
the
it.
next,
Yeah.
because it'll show you driveways on the next, because I looked at the plans, so if we go to the next.
See it.
So see how she's got it drawn in?
There's a break here, and that's where I wanted to be, and I pointed that out to her, and she said.
Okay.
Didn't need it for here, but stick it right here.
Yeah.
Right here, and that's where we're going. I wanted this to not. Okay.
He has to be equitable. No.
Yeah.
it's a-
No,
no.
But what I wanted.
Honestly, I couldn't see.
Yeah.
Not necessarily.
Yeah,
That's what he.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure.
Trying to hear what's going on here.
I'm sorry.
So I did go by here today, this morning. And it is so grown in. I can see where there's a stone wall. Pretty much the whole way. Now, if there's a
Right
break,
here,
I
there's a
couldn't see
flag,
it.
there's an iron rod with orange tape,
Okay,
and then there's a gap, and there are. Metal poles driven into that, so the kids can
Sure.
go dirt bike with us.
okay.
How far off the road, Dave, is stone wall?
It would be, I mean, it's part of this,
It was,
Part of the
it's
road.
part of the scenic road.
Yeah,
What, it
isn't
might
it
be-
25 feet from the center?
might be
Side
part
or
of-
side?
Well, it's face a wall, so if you're gonna,
Okay.
you know,
No, no.
and even just to put a driveway approach. I mean, so, you know, it's great if you can find a stone, you know,
There's
a
a
break in your stone
Yeah, there's a
wall.
break here, and there's a break here, there's two breaks. in that stone.
But to alter the scenic road to even put a driveway approach in, it would be. You have to alter the scenic road, so it needs to go to a public hearing. I just feel our hands are tied. Because of the scenic road. And what she wants to do for a driveway approach for the stone walls. You know, there may be a break, but you still have to file a driveway
on the
opening
road.
permit
Right.
for that driveway, and it's on a scenic road, so. It really needs to go to public hearing. Or unless we did a
If
shared
it's as
driveway,
presented,
as presented,
as presented.
yes,
I got one question to throw at that. Your property line, okay, whereabouts is it? Is it in front of in other words, here's the wall here. I'm just throwing this at you.
Mhm.
It's if the stone wall is here and the pin is in front of it,
The pins in front of the stone, yeah,
that's what I'm asking you.
yeah.
So the stone wall, you might have, it's on your if it's on your property, I don't care if it's by 1 foot, it's on your property.
Yeah.
You do what you want, as far as I'm concerned.
Well,
But
that's
it's a-
just where I saw the pin, but that's the only pin I've seen there.
I understand that, but you need to get better evidence, we'll call it,
A
that,
picture?
that picture, or who a surveyor says, okay, this pin's here, here's the wall, the pin is a foot in front, and you go down the line, but as soon as that, your front line,
No, it's right at the base of the stone wall, it's not, there's no
It's-
space, yeah. And on the road side, it's right at the base, but there's no space. So I need more documentation.
I think, yeah,
exactly.
I think
Yeah.
either way, even if there's a break, I think. My feeling is that because we just approved this as a scenic road and altering the public way within that scenic road, even for a driveway opening. It needs to go to public hearing, and that's, unfortunately, I mean, it was, I know you've been waiting to do this, and, it was last month and it was questions, but, legally, I think that we have to go to public hearing first. That's my opinion, and I mean,
Did you make a motion for that, David?
but, yeah,
Dave,
but Dave, the thing is that. Yeah, we got the wall there, it's part of, it's supposedly if the scenic road and it's part of the road by boundary line down the middle, like we have some walls, the boundary line is in the middle, can't touch it. But if something is on somebody's property by 1 foot or 6 inches, they can, but you're right, though, I'll agree with you, they have to file to get an opening, to change the, for the opening of the into the road, I get that.
Yeah.
But now we're gonna be into this, now we're taking people's rights away from them.
The alteration
The-
of
What,
the scenic
that's
road, which
how
is just-
it would be perceived.
all I'm saying is the majority of the people on Lowell Davis wanted a scenic road.
They got it,
And we approved the scenic road. With that scenic road came conditions that you cannot alter the public way. That's
we're not
all I'm bringing
altering the public way.
yeah,
You
sure.
have to do a driveway.
How you altering the public way?
You gotta get from the asphalt through the wall.
I think the solution is to have her get more documentation where we know exactly where the wall, the lines, everything, and we can't move forward until we have that.
The biggest mistake we made was to put the condition in wall to wall. How, if you got a wall over here and no wall over here, how can you go wall to wall?
You still need
Property line.
access to- regardless of the law.
Yeah.
You need a curb cut to get to the driveway, period.
Well, you can't widen the road, whatever the
So-
road is, if it's 15 feet wide or 20 feet wide, and the wall's 30 feet away, but I mean 5 feet away, now you gotta tell them they can't they can't make an opening in their wall? Ooh, you're gonna have a fight on your hands with me.
You can reconstruct the wall, that's what I'm saying, it's not about the wall, space, a wall to face the wall, you can reconstruct the wall. This is not about the wall, this is about a access point to the road, which is the public way. That's Dave's point. Doesn't have anything to do with it.
It's a scenic road. It says clear, if you go back into the scenic road ordinance, it says clearly you can't make alterations to the road, to the
That's right.
public way.
Without permission.
Without permission.
Yes.
Now, if you got a road,
And
now we
public-
just went through it with Pompeo Road, that the road is 20 feet wide, and some of the walls are on, away from the edge of the road, but they're on people's property line because
So the public
their
hearing-
property line is here and the wall's here.
Nobody disapproves when it comes to the public hearing, they could put that in.
Yeah.
Question?
Yeah, and where do you?
Gives permission? Who gives permission?
I believe,
You go to.
I,
It's the Planning and Zoning Commission. Let me have that thing that I,
first time we've done this.
yeah, so we
No.
made the inquiry.
Hold on, listen to Tara, hold on.
So we made the inquiry hold on, let me stop share here and go into my sent emails. To the attorney, because Dave brought it up to me earlier today, so we sent that along. Bear with me while I find it. And I will just read it.
You went on.
If I can read it. All right, this is teeny tiny, but I can read it. No road which has been designated as a scenic road under ordinance shall be altered or improved, including but not limited to widening of the right of way of the travel portion of the road, paving of an unpaved or dirt road, changes of grade, removal of stone bridges, straightening, removal of stone walls, and removal of mature trees, except for good cause determined by the Planning and Zoning Commission prior to the Planning and Zoning Commission approving any alteration or improvement of a road designated as a scenic road under this ordinance. The Planning and Zoning Commission shall schedule a public hearing on the proposed alteration or improvement. The Planning and Zoning Commission shall notify the selectmen, the highway supervisor, and owners of lot frontage abutting the highway or portion of the highway designated as a scenic road of the proposed alteration and improvement and scheduled public hearing. So yeah, the authority in the ordinance is given to the Planning and Zoning Commission.
After a public
So for me to
hearing.
cut the property, it would have to come back in any case if they were going to actually build it. So if it's just splitting it, do I need to do anything?
I would say, and this is my opinion, that if all you're doing is legally subdividing with no activity associated to it,
Yeah.
then the commission, I would say, is reasonably able to vote on that piece,
But that gives them permission to.
just to split the lot line.
Yeah, like your
Split it.
private property, you
Split
can,
it.
I think you could do that.
Yeah,
Do anything.
Yeah.
Put my hands.
yeah.
But I think one of the questions will be, I'm sorry, Randy,
No, go ahead.
I think one of the commission's questions will be, how do you access those properties?
I was gonna say you're
Okay, that would be.
creating a landlocked lot.
If you join your property behind that, let's say this, beyond the public way, is your
Right,
business, you
right.
can split the property.
There's no plans to access it at this time. That would have to come back. as a-
I think that could be evaluated.
Okay, Ray,
So you could
If
consider a
that's split-
condition.
If that split in the wall was a previous cart path going in there, that should be a non-conforming lot as a road to get into that property. Even without an apron, if that was already a cart path there that was being used somewhere, over the years.
But you have
There's
to.
three splits in the wall. And that's one of them.
What was that again?
Existing curb
That's
cut.
actually 4 splits in the walls on my frontage, and that's one of them.
It just doesn't show it on the plans, and that's
Yeah,
what,
it's
see, the
not-
only thing I was looking at, there's nothing on the plans that shows that. And to do that, I mean, the way the swale is over there, and to put an apron in, and, you know. It could need drainage underneath the driveway apron. I don't know, you know, I'm going by what was given to us
Correct.
in our packet.
And
All we're doing is abiding by what the people of that street. want.
Yeah,
It
what the
has
people
scenic
wanted.
road, so it has nothing to do with you, that's what people voted for. And now this is the consequence.
if,
I would suggest that you guys could approve the subdivision with conditions about coming back if
for a
it's,
public
when it's
hearing
ready to be
have
developed.
access.
I have no problem doing it.
And more clarified plan so that. we-
Yes, I'm gonna ask for the picture.
Yeah,
And
okay,
I'm also gonna take pictures
okay,
and measurements.
okay.
Because that would be very helpful. I mean,
Yes,
just,
that would be helpful even in the next step that we go to. That we
Yeah.
have that so that we have it
John.
in front of us, so that we actually know what we are literally.
That's,
I understand.
that may be 20 years from now, if she's not splitting it.
Yeah, that's what I
So-
mean, yeah, but it would help clarify our decision.
Right. I
Yes.
understand.
yeah, this is just.
All right, so-
What we need is a little better detail, like you said, but, you know, if we get the better detail, this was an opening that somebody like Ray just said was using it as a, opening, say it was 10, 12 feet wide, getting in, whatever. But we need that documentation for us
I'll be
to,
getting, I'll get
because
that.
once that thing was, like, again, like Dave said, once Commissioner Dave. It said was is that once it was made a scenic road, all the criteria changed. Okay,
Hey, all right, right?
I make a motion that we put this off until she gets more information.
Second.
So is that tabling for a month? Is that? the-
Yes.
Okay,
you gonna.
Okay.
Well, if she doesn't
Gonna
want
have to
to, if
hold
she
back.
doesn't want to go back to engineering and, you know, to Janet and everything, I mean, I think if we put the condition on the way the plans are now, we put the condition on that
She can only do.
she can only do blah, 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 you know, whatever. The
Okay,
conditions.
I withdraw that motion.
Thank you.
So, you
It's like.
want me to make it?
Yeah, go ahead, I'll.
So,
I'm listening.
all right, I don't know if I can say it, so. I make a motion that PZC 2324 is approved with conditions. And everybody can add conditions if they want, whatever, but that we will approve if the cart path is
Any opening or.
yeah,
Any opening is feasible.
it doesn't.
An existing opening, you mean?
Yeah, if
Existing
it
opening.
does not. If it does not interfere with scenic road
Correct.
ordinance,
I'll second
that's
that.
Brian cleaned up enough.
Okay, so if it's not gonna interfere with us,
It will not, it will not violate the scenic road
Not the
ordinance.
ordinance.
what about the apron from the pavement to the barway or the?
Well,
But that's,
Well, if it's
that's the next
non-conforming.
step, we're
Okay,
just
so-
doing the division,
So they'd have to come for a public hearing when they get ready to do that
yeah.
20
Yes.
years or whatever.
Yeah,
I have one thing to say to that. Is that property you got, is it bordering the dirt road itself or you got the asphalt?
Asphalt road.
Okay, I just want to get that difference in clarification.
I would
Paved
imagine
road,
when they repave it, that they're gonna have to do all kinds of. Because anyways,
Make sure the verb says existing
that's-
opening,
it's not the dirt.
Yeah.
portion.
existing.
that's, well, I just wanted that clarification
All
because
right, so
you're up on that neck of the woods up that
Yes.
way.
if your motion is that we approve the split of the land,
yeah.
but
The condition is
Clarification.
that the,
If they further go ahead.
if there's,
clarification of the access
yeah,
needs to come back to P and Z,
If
a public
it would be
hearing.
a public hearing.
I'll
That-
ask them to redraw the map and I'll get you pictures.
Yeah,
measurements.
redraw the map.
So in
and
other
then-
words, if they wanted to develop it down the road, we could okay it if they have the.
They're coming back for a public hearing.
Correct. That's-
Does that make sense to you, ma'am?
Yes.
May I?
Yes.
This has nothing to do with Dave's motion, but I would think that any opening in that wall was a cat path at one time.
That's what I would.
I mean, yeah.
There's certainly an access point.
Or an
Access point, cap out, I mean, it was used, I'm assuming.
Somewhere in the records,
Somewhere
it's
down
gotta
the road.
be there.
Oh, it was there before the scenic road designation.
Correct.
Yeah.
So
And I'm
you
fine
gotta
with
get
that.
So
benefit
Dave,
of the
Dave,
doubt.
does this sound like the language that you're after? That the condition is that the plan be redrawn to show the use of the existing breach in the wall?
Or breaches,
Yes,
would that be better breaches if there was?
yes, breaches.
So that could address any of them on the frontage.
Mhm.
And if they can't be utilized, then a public hearing is required.
The public hearing will still be needed to put the apron in, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
guys, I think.
but I don't think she needs it at this point.
I'm sorry.
And a driveway permit.
that would
Yeah, that would
come with-
That would
Yeah.
trigger the
Here.
hearing and public hearing. Not that other driveways don't require a public hearing, but because it's a scenic road, that would. So I think,
Can I?
go ahead.
Just to clean it up, in my mind, it's two conditions. We are approving the subdivision only. We do not approve any new access points or driveways without a scenic road public hearing. That's it.
Yep.
Yeah,
Say it again, Brian.
we do
We
not,
are approving the subdivision only.
Yeah.
Second one, we do not approve any new access points or driveways without a scenic public road hearing.
Exactly what I would have said.
There you go.
it took a long time to get to
That's
that.
my motion.
All right, does anybody, everyone agree with the wording?
Yes.
Not, you ready to vote? Those in favor? Are we ready? Sarah?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
I've got the recording, so this is just if I have to type anything up to Cindy.
Excuse me, but is this just the commissioners at this point, or is it still a public hearing?
Oh, this is
No, this was an
just the
application. It
commission.
wasn't a public
It's
hearing.
just the commission.
That's it, this commission?
All right, those in favor of the 23-24, the way it was worded, a yes vote will approve the subdivision.
Ryan Santos, yes.
Dave Plowski, yes.
Sally Lang was yes.
Alvin Hill, yes.
Mike Vogel, yes.
John B. Lincoln, yes.
Jane Salsi, yes.
Ray Williams, yes.
Guys,
Kaiser Levesque, yes.
Randy Blackmer, yes, passes unanimous.
Thank you. No, thank you.
I just,
I like doing things the right way.
yeah,
Okay,
thanks for coming in.
PZC 23-22 applicant Shelley and Jason Boyve. 27 Main Street property owner North Beacon LLC of 104 Church Street, Putnam, Connecticut. Map 1469, block 91, lot 25, zone DMRD, requesting a zoning permit with a site plan review to operate a Triple Raven Beer Company, a brewery manufacturing beer, serving beer, wine, liquor, and beverages to the public. Future services to include preparing and serving of food, food trucks, acoustics, live bands, karaoke, comedians and magicians, outdoor seating on patio and possible outdoor seating, and small propane fire pits outside. Regulation Article 4F, Section 2, number 13.
The applicant is here, as is her landlord.
Do-
So, do you want to just kind of reiterate what was written?
Well, if you have anything to say about it, but you wanted to amend the words of your application, right? The name of your company.
Yeah, we, since applying to this, now have an LLC, so it's Triple Raven Brewing LLC.
So you'd have to motion.
Yeah.
to amend it.
Yeah.
And then just to clarify some of the things, when I was working over the list with Cindy, so we are starting this as just a brewery with just beer. And then hopefully in the future, we're hoping to add food, maybe sell other spirits, we're not sure. We don't want it to turn into a bar by any means. Just to have a place that people can go to, you know, have some craft beer and hang out, where we would be respectful, you know, we aren't gonna be rowdy and crazy or anything like that. It's generally, if you go to a brewery, it's an older crowd, you know, you're not gonna have too many 21-year-olds in there. So that's what we think, you know, we'd like to have another place in town that people can go and just hang out on weekends and bring their kids and, you know, family friendly atmosphere, have some music playing and host different things to bring crowds in. Well, I mean, it's a small place, but you know, 42 people inside. You know, you guys have been to breweries, that's what we want to do.
Comments? Questions?
I got one.
I'm listening.
For the live bands, did you plan on having them amplified or? Is the band's gonna be acoustic?
So the only reason why I put the word bands in there is in case they did have one amplifier. I don't imagine, like, we're kind of friends with a guy named Nick Bossy who plays all around here. He's becoming a little famous-ish. And he will play by himself with one guitar with one amp, and he is actually considered a live band because of that one amp. We're not gonna have full-blown drums and guitars. I mean, you can't fit people in there. We imagine one single person with one instrument, and yes, we would like them to bring an amplifier if it makes sense. We are aware that there's a lot of close neighbors, and we don't want to rub anyone the wrong way or be loud or, you know, go super late. Like, we're not gonna be open until 2 a.m. or anything crazy like that. But if we have one person with one amp, then yes, that's considered live band.
Yeah, and I can provide a little more clarification on that, because when Jill had her trouble with that, with what was on that, she had chosen acoustic, thinking that that is what that meant, just like a guy with a guitar and maybe a mic and an amp. But as soon as that's plugged in the eyes of the liquor commission, it becomes a live band, even if it's one guy. It's the presence of amplification that makes the difference. So the acoustics is like a string quartet or an unmiked piano or something.
It doesn't carry that far, that loud.
Well, that's why I brought that up because
Of the last. Randy,
Go ahead.
what are you considering as far as your operating hours?
Definitely Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and probably like noon to 8 on Thursday. Probably noon to 9 Friday, and then noon to 10 Saturday, and then earlier on Sunday, probably noon to 7. Ish. We may do Wednesday, it depends. So, and I'm gonna be running and managing it. Jason, my husband's the brewer. He's been craft brewing for over 20 years, and this is gonna be my full-time job. I'm gonna be running it and managing it, hopefully not have too many staff or any staff as long as I can. So, like, it's gonna be a small, like, mom and pop operation. That's our year. And I just wanna say one thing about the music. So on this, I'm always turning things down anyway, so. But on one side of our wall, there's only, so if you're standing in the front of the building, there's only one window towards the other entrance in the back on this side, and on this side, there's actually no windows until you go into the bathroom. So I don't even think it's going to be super loud. You know, like, it's not like we have all these windows and they're all gonna be open and we're gonna be like, I'm like a whole band right on the front, like, no, no.
What about, you had mentioned the seating outside and the entertainment outside?
We couldn't possibly have entertainment outside, but I definitely want to put some kind of either tall standing tables on that front patio. And then there's also little grass area on the side. And on that grass area, imagine like 4 or 6 lower seats with little propane tanks. Just have other spaces for people to go.
Charlene?
I know that she's being probably conservative with 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock. So I would like it if you would say 10 o'clock every night, because if you're doing well and if you want to go longer, they will hold you to 7. So shoot
Oh,
big,
we don't have the.
shoot big, well.
No, but don't.
Don't just
Down the
pick
road.
7, just
Yeah.
pick a time that you'll be able to, if your business does well, that you'll be able to expand and.
Okay.
I think, what is the
appreciate
time
that.
in there we did for Jill? Was it
11.
11?
It was 11.
Yeah, so
What about the
shoot-
band too?
Do 11, and if you never see 11, that's great, but if you're doing well and you want to see 11, then that was the time that we had put in for that previous business, and Thompson's supposed to be welcoming businesses and expanding and bringing people in, so I don't want to see you cut your throat to try to get in, and then you won't
Or-
be able to expand.
Or come
Okay.
back later, or come back later,
So
try
they
to
won't,
get,
won't come back because,
oh no, once it's set, it's set.
yeah,
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, yeah, when I said that, I was thinking about, like, we
Yeah.
haven't completely decided on our hours yet, but it's not gonna be. I mean, if I'm gonna be there, then I have to clean up and go home, drive home, you know, so yeah.
But you would have the options, ma'am. So if you still want to close at 8, that's your right. But like Ms. Langlois said, if things are going good, it's a good night. Thursday night seems to be a good night, Friday night, even Saturday, even Sunday, but you can stay open till 10 or 11, like we
Okay, yeah.
granted before, which is a good thing for you
Yeah,
in the long run.
Mike?
So I would say 11,
Every night.
yeah.
every night.
Okay, I know when we had the discussion about Jill's and everything else. I don't remember if it was David or Brian that brought up the entertainment district. And the
That is-
hours. What were those hours we had decided upon?
Oh, wasn't it 11?
It was 11 o'clock.
Like we talked about the band, how late they could play.
Yeah.
We reduced it based upon the band.
Okay, because I have no problem with 11,
I
but
can't
I
remember what it
thought
was.
we had said something about entertainment district. And I
Yeah.
thought we had expanded that hours.
Well, we had said that drafters was till 2,
Yeah,
and
but
we
then
could
on
go
the-
till 2, that was the entertainment district. But then we were trying to be considerate of the neighbors in that area, and that's where we got 11.
No, actually, no, you know, brought that about.
Mhm.
Okay, I'm fine with 11, but you know. I just wanted
Yeah.
to bring it up that I thought we had discussed later hours at one point.
You said the entertainment would be inside though, the band or whatever,
If it was music, oh, absolutely.
all right, because the previous use of that created a problem when I think the band was still inside, but,
The door was open. Yeah, the door was
And the
The
door
door was open.
windows were open.
Yeah, so that's why. Forewarning, okay, but but I think you're gonna do real good there. You know, I can see it in you, what you're trying to do, you wanna be there for the next 100 years.
all right, somebody want to make a motion or?
I make a motion that we accept P and Z application 2325.
22.
22, I'm sorry. I gotta get my glasses straightened out.
And with the name change.
Yeah, somebody's got
Someone
to
has to put the name change in
amend
there.
the application.
And I was gonna get there, and then we do and also have the name change to the adding LLC,
Triple
correct?
Raven Brewing LLC.
I hope you make a nice good peach ale, I like it.
I will second it.
Motion made and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, we'll start with you, Ray, this time. I'm sorry.
As a property owner, if she wants to play music outside and seating outside, are there any restrictions?
The problem that we got into before was the people across the street.
I'm well aware of
Yeah.
the problem.
So I don't want to have people calling the cops on you because it's too noisy or whatever.
Well, isn't there a sound, like, what was the, like, what is the deal with that? So drafters plays and it's loud and their doors are closed in the winter and open, obviously, in the summer.
The next thing with drafters is they don't have anybody that, well, there
Yeah,
is.
across the street, yeah, right on the side and then across the street. I'm just, if it's the entertainment district,
Well,
what's the legality of it, like, because obviously they're a business, this is what happened with, when Jill was there, like, you want them to have a business, but they can't cook, can't sleep, can't talk, can't play, and then you're like, and do great, have a ball, make money.
Yeah.
So
we
as of
thought-
this moment, nobody has put a condition on the approval having anything to do with anything happening outside. So right now it is neither explicitly permitted or explicitly not.
Can add that,
Well,
we can add it.
I can see why, as long as they don't have a, speaker out there cranked up full blast, but if you just got people sitting out there having a drink and
With a
Or-
little-
and just have a little bit of background music, there shouldn't be no reason why that should be,
But is the
harassing
background,
anybody.
is the background music coming, is it gonna be trying to come from the person in there? Would you like have a speaker? Like not a, like a full blown speaker, but something soft that was playing out there? I mean, I don't care. I like the music. It's not like, but I'm just trying to think like, what does that mean to you? Does it mean like it's on a,
That makes a lot of sense, and I think we should. Again, we just don't want to ruffle any feathers
Yeah.
with the new guys, and right, so. Kind of didn't really bring that up on purpose because we figured if there was trouble with the music on the inside, well, let's kind of keep it to the inside, but.
Well, that was a good thing, Bob, that was good to bring that up because.
Right.
I don't want to see them get screwed like.
Right.
Yeah,
yeah.
Right.
and Mr. Chair, so, they were very detailed in your descriptions, but, I'm gonna be probably a frequent customer and I like playing cornhole. So, can we have cornhole boards there? I just think,
I second.
I don't want I don't want it to be restrictive to the point where they just listed all of these things within,
Yeah,
so I would add a condition that they're not,
But it has to be in a feasible place, no, like, where the road comes down with the sidewalk,
yeah,
not a good
Yeah,
place.
not a good
Down
place.
in the driveway, or the parking lot down there, because
common sense.
unless you,
prevails.
Right.
common sense practice, yes,
So I just don't want to see you guys.
I just don't
say
wanna
like,
go
"Oh, shit,
down there
I mean, crap, I wish I would have.
Yeah.
I just don't wanna go down here and take your money from
Yeah,
beating
so-
and cornhole.
Is it fair to say unamplified music outdoors only and amplified inside? Is that okay?
I would stay away.
Stay away
This is
from-
professional musician talking. Stay
No,
away
it's
from
just-
unamplified music outside, because the second you're doing that, you're essentially saying
No
radio.
that there's,
Right.
yes, no piped out.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, but there's a fine line with trying to.
well, how about if we try it? And obviously, if it's too loud, then we can make adjustments. It seems like, I mean, it's trial and error and like, obviously, if you have, I'm probably dating myself, kiss outside on your deck, it could be a little loud. But I think like with people sitting out at those tables, they're not gonna wanna sit out there with nothing, like they were like,
Cause they may put their own phone and little
Yep,
speaker
yep.
on.
Well,
We have friends that do that all the
That's
time.
Bluetooth, that's just.
Want another beer?
Yeah.
Well, that makes sense, Bluetooth, if they're gonna use Bluetooth, they wanna use tie into their Bluetooth, they're not putting the speaker or anything outside, it's
it's
the
the
customer.
customer.
So,
Customer
Alright.
is always right.
there you go,
And the energy
so that
was-
would be something
Yep,
for you to
let's
think
go.
about, entertain, I mean, it's.
all right, so. Where are
So
we
the
at?
conditions aren't the conditions here, the conditions aren't just what's stated here. They can do cornhole, they can do some other things besides what they specifically.
Common
called out.
sense.
Common sense.
Common sense. I think that would be.
All
the
right,
best way.
so word what we're approving.
Whatever you want to,
I didn't even second it, I don't know who seconded it.
He did.
No.
I accept your conditions and everything. I think it's good. And, they should have that opportunity and see what's best.
I'm
Yeah,
sorry,
I don't know.
what are the conditions?
There is none.
There is none.
These aren't a condition.
All
I
right,
guess this is not a condition of approval, what they stated for their use.
so you're just making a straight up motion and vote on the application as
That's right.
presented.
Correct.
Yeah,
Okay,
All right, simple,
with the change of name is the
with the
only,
change of
And
name.
Change the name, it has to be done because they want the LLC.
okay, so. Correct me if I'm wrong, we're voting on
Yeah.
the approval of 23-22 as presented with change of name to Triple Raven Brewing LLC.
No. When you open it.
We don't know yet.
Send it over.
There's a lot of things in order and.
When I say those, yes.
Ready?
Okay,
Let the.
Those in
chair
favor
finish
say
first.
Yes, yes.
Sounded like
Steve
it was
Oglowski is.
yes.
Elvin Hill, yes.
Mike Kugel, yes.
John B. Linky, yes.
James also, yes.
Ray Williams, yes.
Aye,
Kaiser Levesque, yes.
Randy Blackmer, yes.
Congratulations.
Motion unanimous.
Can't wait, get the tanks in. Yeah, yeah.
Better have some nice cornhole things made up for him.
Do we have to change number 11? Do we have to make a motion to change that?
We will get to it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks
Good
for
luck.
coming in, good luck. Get my mug ready.
Okay, PZC application 23-25 applicant Richard DeRosa, DBA J&J Construction LLC, property owner Richard DeRosa's 484 and 486 Watertown Farm Road, map 158, block 20, lot 8, zone RRAD for gravel operation permit renewal for reclamation of site regulations 2012. Article 9, section 5, gravel banks, earth removal, earth processing, section 5, F1.
I watch it, my name.
Well, stand up so we know who you are.
We go with folks here. Victor Rocha, JJ. Any questions? You've seen the photos?
Nothing's changed.
Nothing. They haven't, all bonds hasn't hauled out over, well, since last year. About 2 weeks after I got my reapproval. You hauled out a couple of weeks afterwards and you've been gone since, so. It's just me down there grading. I did open up the back cut with the house going. Recently, this past winter, but then I took a 4.5, 5 months sabbatical. So I've been back there since. Now I'm just putting millings down for the driveway going up back. And nothing's leaving the site, so.
Yeah, Cindy said it looked good, so you should get photos.
Yeah.
Nice work.
Getting there.
Yep.
No more to do, but
I'll make the motion that we accept, wait a minute.
23-25.
Yeah, application 2325.
I'll second that.
Motion made and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none.
Said it looks good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
Yes, vote approves the application. We'll start with you, Ray.
Ray Williams, yes.
James also, yes.
John B. Linky, yes.
Mike Kugel, yes.
Elvin Hill, yes.
Oh, Charlotte, yes.
David Plum, yes.
I said those, yes.
Guys,
Kaiser Levesque, yes.
Randy Blackmer, yes. Motion approved unanimously. PZ application 23-23, Damian. Okay, thank you. 772 Quinnebog Road, owners of some more.
I did not receive a completed application from the applicant. Cindy had instructed him to get it to me by Tuesday last, and
So we don't have the application, so we just pass on this, right?
Yep.
Okay,
Put it off till next month.
Table.
Table.
tabled. Report of officers and staff. Budget, you had
Yeah, we're
$2.50
winding right down,
left
Mr.
or something.
Chair, winding right down. I haven't got notification on the new budget yet. Now everybody had in their packet, so really not much to say, it's going good. With a
About
couple of
going,
weeks left. Alvin's looking at the clock.
Questions for Dave?
just for the record, Dave, Jane gave me an invoice from one of the trainings for $45. If we have that in the P and Z budget, and we can expend that before the end of the week, that would be great. Otherwise, I will find it in my office budget.
No, I think I did see somewhere we did have just probably close to that amount, so thank you, Jane.
Yeah, no problem.
Approved.
You were supposed to pay for it before.
You, does planner have a report?
Planner does have a report. Thank you, by the way, for passing the rezone on those parcels. That is the last of the big pieces. As you know, we have that flood damage prevention ordinance coming up that must be approved by. I had previously thought that it needed to be approved at the September meeting. It needs to be approved at the August meeting. The reason I thought it needed to be approved at the September meeting is that those FEMA maps will be adopted on September 7th. So the logic to me suggested that once the maps were adopted, we would then change the ordinance. FEMA wants it the other way around. They want us to change the ordinance first. You guys have already seen that. It's literally like a change of 2 words. Not the ordinance, the stuff in the zoning regulations related to the ordinance. A change of 2 words. However, what that does do is we were going to maybe take a pass on doing another regs update because we did it so late in January this year as opposed to last fall. It is reasonable that we would do a few more updates for that August meeting. The one that comes to mind is the gentleman who came in a few weeks ago who had the thing with the fence. Everybody kind
Yeah.
of seemed to
Yep.
think that that was
Yep.
something worth taking up. Maybe 1 or 2 other things. Alvin noticed, for example, and I had noticed it as well, I just hadn't gotten around to it, that 2 years ago, some of the legislation declared that you had to strip the word character as a defining element in your zoning regulation. We never really did do that. So I would just say that we should probably have 1 special discussion meeting just to go over a couple of those things. And I would propose, and you guys tell me what you think about this, doing it as early as possible in July in case we get hung up, right? So I am going to suggest next Wednesday, the 5th, at our usual bat time and bat channel, if that works for people.
What's the date? I missed that.
Wednesday, the 5th, 7 to 9,
Or what month?
July,
July, coming up.
next week.
Mm.
Usual format on Zoom, blah, blah, blah. So I can pull up the attachment and we can all read it and, at the same time and type into it. Does that work for the group?
Anyone have a problem with that?
Works for me. I will book it.
So be it.
And that one's at 6 o'clock, right?
7
Seven.
to 9. I think we did one at 6 that was.
We
that
had no
did early.
choice though.
Yeah,
We had to do it.
okay, I will, make the Zoom link for that and send it out tomorrow. I think that is all that I had on that.
Okay, we had the memo from Cindy. Any questions on that? Correspondence, Douglas, the town of Douglas had a couple notices, public hearings, and Burn and Burn has decided they needed more money, so they've increased their rate.
We don't.
But we don't use them anymore
We
anyway.
don't use them in, we haven't
Well-
used them in what, 2, 3 years?
So if you decide you want to, you can expect to pay more.
Whatever. It's like anything else. You go buy a good steak today, you gotta pay more.
So,
It's always
all right.
We gotta get
Signing of-
your hours back.
Signing of Mylars, we have the Mylar for Jason LaValle. Need approval for me to sign that.
I'd
Even
like
though
to make a motion that Randy Blackmer have the ability to sign
I have the ability, it's the authority I
the
need.
authority. That's what I'm saying.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Those in, well, we'll roll call that. We'll start with Brian.
Dave Popowski, yes.
Shelley Langway, yes.
Alvin Hill, yes.
Mike Hargle, yes.
John B. Lampy, yes.
Jane Celsi, yes.
Yes.
Guys,
Guys or Levesque, yes.
Randy Blackmore, yes. Motion passes unanimous. Whole business?
I don't believe there was anything additional under old business. I hope not.
Okay, I don't have anything. New business, Indian Run Road, Max Candidas request to build 3 houses off a town unaccepted road. You wanna care to explain that, Dara?
Max,
So let Max.
Okay,
Hello, Max.
have at it.
got NVDH approval on it, there are 3. Which I think is you guys, what I'm gonna try to do,
See if I can. Sure, I have that here in the packet.
they're gonna be tiny, 635 square footers. Something affordable, 1 bedroom, 1 bath. J&D did all the engineering, so everything fit, septic fit, and DDH approved it. Pretty much what it is.
Anyone, any questions?
So. I do.
Yes,
So this is three lots, 2 houses, is that what?
3 houses.
So our plans have 2. Am I missing something?
Yeah, because I have this lot. Let me give you this.
This is my whole pet peeve about new business. Right here, summed up again, every single month we get new business and it's like. Not to you,
No,
just,
no.
it just
Maybe I thought.
Yeah.
continues, it continues, it just is not fair. It's not fair to us, it's not fair to you.
I have
This is,
lot 152, 53, and 54, but James, we did the test fits on these.
yeah,
James, by mistake. Did a test fit on this lot, and it should have done this lot. So I'm waiting for NDBH to come back out and do that lot. But the septic still fit in everything else, so it's these 2, but I will be coming back for 154 once. They,
well, we're voting on a new business, 3 lots, 3 houses. And we got a plan for 2 houses. Right, we got plans.
Am
for
I
2.
able to do 2 and then come back for the 3rd one?
I was,
Or
I mean, the application is for 3 and we provided maps for 2. My personal opinion is, if we're gonna conduct business this way, it's not new business. It needs to be brought to us and it needs to be accurate. So that's my input. I can't vote on something that's approved, that is on the agenda as new business for 3 lots, unfortunately. That's my opinion. So.
I think it
the
may
other commissions-
be slightly simpler than that, because there's no application associated with this,
no. No,
right? So I think Cindy's thinking on this.
Oh, okay.
This is where I think, and I'm trying to, act as Cindy here. I believe her thinking on this is that in order for Max to move forward, he needs to have the general permission of the commission to build on the unaccepted road,
Yeah.
because she found that historic ordinance. You can't even find that ordinance in the published code well, you will be able to once it goes online. So, that was her finding something that was like in the back of her head going, I think I've seen this.
Yeah.
He found it.
Yeah.
So it doesn't make any sense for Max to proceed. Each of those individual houses would not need to come in front of the commission, because each of them is just a building permit and a zoning permit. What is needed from the commission is the permission just to
build on an
use
unaccepted.
that unaccepted road.
but
And it's another ordinance. The writing on it is like, it's almost stupid that it exists, because if you read it, essentially it says you can't do it unless the commission says you can.
Yeah.
And it doesn't give the commission any guidelines as to, it's just like you guys are acting as a backstop.
Shared road.
Can I,
Whose is it? There's Hiawatha that comes down, and then there's that Indian Inn Run. That's a private road.
no, it's an unmaintained public road, I believe.
So there's a house that sits here,
Yeah,
right? And so where are these driveways coming out? Onto Indian Inn Run?
Yep.
On a private owned road or a
Unmaintained
public?
public?
What is that?
Yeah, okay.
Hiawatha was on the list of unaccepted roads. Indian Run was not on my copy of that list.
Mhm.
If I go into the parcel map system, all of those addresses come up, which generally means that that is a public road,
but it's not.
but apparently not always.
Not an accepted.
It's not, yeah.
let me read the ordinance.
Thank you.
No building permit.
Yeah.
For construction of any dwelling. Or for remodeling of any existing structure. For building. For dwelling purposes. Or emplacement of any mobile home or trailer used for residential purposes. Or replacement of any mobile home or trailer used for purposes shall, in other words, not be issued for any lot which does not abut a town road or state highway. Now, looking at the town map, and not even going on the town site, there's no listing for us to know whether or not it's an unaccepted town road.
So who takes care of it?
But Arrowhead, I'm quite sure is it's a dead end road. It's not an accepted town road, nor is Indian Run Road, nor Tatum Pole Drive. Those 3 roads are unaccepted. So
Totem pole on
his,
the other side,
Totem pole on the other side.
totem pole on the other side.
right. So there's, well, how did Mayville build his A-frame over there? That road's not accepted. You had to let somebody build it because there's a ton of houses there. Yeah, they're just unaccepted roads. And the ordinance is pretty, we've never amended it. I mean, that goes back to what,
73.
70,
what you were reading.
73.
I-
Now, there are like, continuing that unless the planning commission shall either, now we've got A and B, have approved past tense, a subdivision plan for the lot on which the dwelling structure is intended to be placed, then he could get a building permit. That just doesn't happen. Written permission for the issuance of such building permit after having considered the impact of such structure upon the neighborhood, specifically, particularly with regard to traffic, residential density, access to sewers, or suitable for on-site septic, size of the lot, purpose to be built upon, and suitability for the purpose of structure to the neighborhood. I mean, there's all kinds of things, but they're all past tense.
Well, it's only past tense, Alvin, because the permission is issued after having considered. So that's what's happening now, is that the commission is being asked to consider his plan, and you are given discretion in this ordinance, fairly wide discretion to say, is it appropriate to the neighborhood? But technically, you're not issuing the permit, you're giving the building office permission to issue his permits.
Yeah.
So
That's
I
where I have a
assume
problem.
that's
We
why
have-
there's no application number associated with
I
it.
mean,
it's not-
we don't have all the information.
We don't have
to
the
make a
right plans.
decision.
That's why, honestly, I didn't go down here today. Or drive by there, because I'm like, I don't understand what's going on. We say 3, there's 2. I didn't even know what I was looking at. I'm like, I'm not even wasting my time. So. That's where I stand. I mean, if we're gonna review plans and we're looking for the aesthetics of the neighborhood and everything else, it should be encompassed on here. That's-
Are you just considering, I mean, if it's on town maintained road, the impact's gonna be the same, they'll all be 1-1, so the impact will be, you know, I feel like that's the only, whether it's 2 or 3 lots, you know, I'm gonna do 3 lots, the driveways it's gonna come out, the really big question is the impact, and they're such small houses, there's either gonna be 1 or there won't be any families in there in a 1-1 and 600 square feet. So.
I need help.
I mean, honestly, we're approving something that isn't correct. That was my biggest problem is if I'm putting my name, if I'm gonna vote yes to approve this, I wanna see 3 houses where they're going on the lots. That's all I'm asking.
Well,
And we don't have that.
We don't even gotta have a public hearing, yada, yada.
Well, there
No.
wouldn't be a
Well,
public
it doesn't
hearing.
have to.
There wouldn't be a
Yeah.
public hearing. There are 3 single-family residences.
Yeah.
It's different.
And it's not a subdivision. There are lots of record.
Yeah.
So there's no reason that this would come in front of you at all, except it happens to be this dirt road.
Yeah.
That's the only role that the Planning and Zoning
It's an
Commission has
unaccepted
in
road,
this
town
issue.
road.
Yeah.
Right?
Just to support Dave on that, I think come back in next month with an updated plan, and I think will give each of us a chance to run over there. Just check it out, get a visual, and then be able to make a decision whether or not
Yeah, I just,
to do it.
I can't put my name on something that is just not complete. I apologize for it, just, and it's not you, it's the new business thing that just keeps coming up. That's that I have a problem. I've been very vocal like the past 3-4 months on that issue. So, you guys can do whatever you want.
But the question, as I understand it, that we have to do is waive that we're allowing him to do this on a unaccepted road,
That's right.
not approve the plan at all.
Correct.
Yep.
Correct.
Yep,
Right, essentially, there is an extra procedural hurdle because it's an unaccepted road. The actual approvals of the building and the zoning go through the building office and the ZEO.
yep.
So essentially, you are just giving him permission to get permission.
But
That's
then
what you're
if
doing. You're
there's-
giving him permission to get permission.
The what?
I just want to see the road.
The road, yeah.
The road. I haven't any vote.
Yeah, I didn't either, I didn't.
Is, my question is, as an unaccepted road, who maintains it? Are you gonna maintain it?
Who maintains it now?
I don't know.
The town does,
So-
as far as I know.
So,
Town plows it.
The
No, They plow Hiawatha, but do they plow Indian in, because that's a dead end, right? Indian in is dead. Indian Run. I mean,
Point of order,
Indian-
point of order. You were not allowing citizens' comments on other agenda items.
okay, she's talking. That was Valerie Clark.
There's no citizen.
It's all right, it's all right. Yeah, go ahead.
Comes out, it's not a dead end.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I didn't even, I was just saying it was Indian End, I think.
Some of those are those
Sorry, go ahead.
in that neck of the woods, yeah, thank you. Is that even though it's unapproved road or it's not, hasn't been used, they may tie in somewhere down the line, like, here to there. But because it doesn't have, and nobody uses it every day, like 10 cars a day or whatever. You just want to put it, so if the town go running down the road and they plow it because it's easier for the plow truck to go right down and try to make a turnaround and go back the other way, they just continue down and go up the other way. They, I mean, that's common sense too, but now we have to find out if they do, like Dave says, and Brian, where's the access? Is it being maintained?
But there's nothing in that ordinance, John, that says that the town is obligated.
I understand that, that's something that might need to be changed.
Hey, Jane?
My thinking on this is you are here basically to get permission to be able to get permission
To get a
do the
building
planning and the permit. I think we're going too deep into this right now. He's here for one thing. It hasn't got anything to do with the plans or anything. It's just to get permission for him to be able to start this process. Is that correct?
That is how I interpret
And that's
Cindy's.
how I'm
intent.
interpreting it. So we are just going to vote on whether he gets permission to go get permission to do this. Right now, the rest of the stuff is not applicable because we haven't gotten that far.
And it won't come to us anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
I just have a question. So to get permission to do something, I know there's a house on there. And I know that with 3 houses or 2, whatever's on this piece of paper, coming out onto that road, that's an unacceptable road that nobody takes care of, because I don't believe that the town plows into there. If I'm mistaken, I'll have to ask the person, but
You
I
know
just,
that?
I just
Town
don't
plow it now?
want.
They plow it now, from what I've been told, I haven't been there, but that's what. They took.
I just don't want to give permission to because if we give permission, then he's off and running without us looking at the road, looking at the house that's sitting there. And this is I mean, I'm all for
I still
business.
have to go through Cindy and planning and zoning and everything.
You won't come back through us. If we
No.
give you permission, you're
No.
done. But
That's
I
it.
just know that I live on Lowell Davis Road. And that I bought my house because it's quiet, it's country, and I love it. Across the street, there's woods everywhere. Now, if somebody comes in and they're gonna put 100 condos in there, I didn't buy that for that particular reason. Like, so now I have to, as a person living there, I have to come to a town meeting, I have to listen about 50 cars coming out on the road. Like I wanna make sure that I see where you're saying 3 houses, driveways. Are you gonna take care of the road if coming out on that road, if the town isn't taking care of it? Because if it's unacceptable road, are you gonna want the town to take care of the road once the houses are in there? Will the people that buy the house, like, if the person that's living here was taking care of it, and then like, she's like, I'm not taking care of it, it can get 20 feet of snow. Who's taking care of that road? I wanna know who's gonna do that, and if we do it, okay, then they're there, somebody's taking care of it, but right now, I don't believe that the town goes in there all the time and takes care of an unacceptable road.
Right?
I understand where I was before with Dave, but there's 3 things that I just want to see here. Or here. One, when you leave and, you know, you come back next month, I want the DPW to answer the question if they're plowing it. Okay,
Thank you.
all right, that's number 1. Number 2, I just want to see the general condition of the road, right? So we can move forward and you can actually build these houses after those 2 things are done. And then third, I think we need to have a larger discussion, maybe as part of that special meeting about these unaccepted streets, because
They're gonna keep coming.
this keeps on coming up and it's like, everyone's confused on what to do. We need to bring this to some sort of,
It becomes a
You know,
thorn.
it's just a problem. So let's make it part of the special meeting.
Well,
No, you
not the
don't.
special meeting next week,
Not next week, at some other junction.
some other juncture. I will say that I am under the impression that the Board of Selectmen wants to tackle this problem, which I have told them I will.
Yeah, and we're not gonna
help them
hold him
do.
up for that conversation, in my opinion. I just wanna see that the road's in good condition, that it's being plowed, and then I'm gonna say that, yes, you can go ahead and build, probably speaking for myself, okay?
So we,
So it's lot 154 is the one you put. I mean,
152, 3 and 4 are the ones I'm gonna do.
so 154, the well's actually across the road on a separate parcel on this map. So that's why I'm saying, so how can we?
But
as
is
a
that
future-
not what we're here for, is for you to look at the septic, we're just looking here.
It was the well, it's
Oh,
the
that-
well, and if it's
okay.
not drawn, if it's drawn in on a separate lot, going across the. I just want to see everything.
But wouldn't planning and zoning not allow me to do that anyways? So even if you approve me for the road saying, I'd still have to, P and Z would be like, you can't put a well on the other side
Oh,
of the
it would
road.
be building,
Yeah,
or
building.
NDDH.
So that,
what,
I think we're back to that original point that, and this is just me trying to sort of put the Cindy hat on a little bit, which is that it's difficult for him to go forward with the building office and with the ZEO if he doesn't have the base condition of saying, we P and Z. No, not permission to build on it, permission to proceed with submitting his plans. The building office or the ZEO could turn down either one of them if they are unacceptable.
We're not
If we-
here to accept or anything with his plans. It's just here to give him the permission to be able to get to the next step. So
Yes,
that he
let me-
can do this.
So
Let
the
me
the
read-
building official and the ZEO are your gatekeepers.
Let me
Yeah.
read B under the ordinance. Us, P and Z, if we agree to issue a written permission for the issuance of a building permit, that's all we're required to do with this gentleman. To give him a written permission to get a building permit.
Yeah, not to look at the plans
Not
of the
to have
building
nothing to
permit
do
or
with the
anything.
plans or
It's just to give
anything
him the
else.
permission to go to the next step. Not accept the plans or accept the well or accept that there's not 3 houses on this. It is just to give him that permission so that now he can go forward. He will correct the plans. He will put everything down, but he can't do that until we give him permission to do it.
then we would have to change the new business application,
It's never gonna
It's
come in
not a-
front of the
it's
commission.
It's not gonna come in, yeah,
we'd have. to change
making it
the
more
word- we'd
complicated
have to
than it
change the
actually
word
is.
New business.
I'm not trying to make it complicated, Jane. We hold
Oh,
Mr. DeRoche, we
Yes.
hold everyone who comes in to a standard for plans. If the plans are gonna come in incomplete, I'm voting no.
but we're not here to approve his plan.
Well, why is the plans in front of us?
I think that was a courtesy that he did for us.
Because he's on an, he's
He
on,
didn't
an-
here to approve the plans.
Okay, let Alvin speak. Let Alvin speak.
he's on an unaccepted street.
Yeah, that's right.
And all our guideline is if we feel that it's going to be okay, we issue a written permission for him to get a building permit. That's
Yeah.
all we're required to do.
So you went down and let everybody look at the street and make sure that it was okay to do, as per what we're supposed to do in the ordinance.
Actually, my feeling is we need to ask the town foreman whether that's,
Yeah.
We do.
and need to look at the road. I don't even know where it is.
That's,
I shouldn't say that.
Put people on the street that's not plowed or it's not even in good
Well,
shape.
they may plow it, but they're certainly not going to fix it
Right.
It's dirt.
That's why we need.
or maintain the road other than plowing.
Yeah.
Because they are
They
taxpayers.
take the grade and go down.
I think we know.
That's all.
So what's your pleasure? We're gonna give him permission to go forward with that, or, and actually the zoning enforcement officer can say, could follow up on this, whether the town's gonna plow the road, who plows the road, or make sure the road's passable.
You could include in the written, because it's not even really an approval, it's.
Written permission to
it's
get a
written
building
Permission,
permit.
which would be the minutes. In that written record, a request for the ZEO to follow up with you directly in the next month's meeting.
Wouldn't it just be a request to move forward to permission to make formal applications to the ZEO and building official for building permits?
Well, that's part of the building permit process.
Right, but we're just giving him the permission to move forward. And then it's up to them if they want to say no. Or we can table it till next month. I can make that motion too. In fact, I think I will make
It's a-
that. We just-
it's
we
a-
just do that motion next month.
Is a month gonna cost you,
Waiting a lot. I came through J&D, Cindy found something that no one could find, not even her for, it's been months now. I mean, obviously, if I have to go that route, I'm gonna have to go that route, but I was hoping it was just permission to, to go to do my application with NDDH and Cindy and everybody else, so I could do it. They're gonna want to say, well, that doesn't work, or that does work. Or, you've met all the criteria, these are, when I bought it, it was 4,500 square feet. They've changed the zoning since, but when I purchased the land, it was in the old zoning.
Yeah.
Cindy realized that and said, he bought it in the old zoning. So obviously I'd like to continue. I mean, she's gonna be the one that really puts the plan to the test, whether it's feasible to do it or not. And so far, we think it is, but you never know. I mean, I've only got an NDA approval for one lot. They could tell me, no, it doesn't work. So they're your backstop. I mean, there's a million backstops where if it doesn't meet all the criterias of a pre-existing lot, I won't be able to do it. But if it does meet all the criterias, then I can move forward with it without coming back here. There's people on the road, they've used the road already. The impact that I'm gonna do is the smallest impact it was. If I came before you put 3 lots together and built a 4-bedroom, you'd have way more of an impact. This is gonna be far less than that. So I think I've taken every step to make something that, the town can use, which is something that's gonna probably be considerably under 300 grand. Starter home, well-designed, and with all the approvals, if I get them from Cindy, if I get them from Connecticut, then I could just move forward without having to go through all this again. I mean, it comes down to, it's a small dirt road, but it's the smallest impact I could possibly ever make on it.
Have you
Go ahead,
got,
Brian.
I have no doubt in all of that. I just wanted my two questions answered, and that's gonna take another month for me. So there's a motion and a second on the table, Mr. Chairman.
have you made any attempt with Department of Health, whether or not these lots have septic capability?
I have approval for lot 152 for one of the lots already.
All right,
So, like I said, if I go through and they don't say you don't meet the criteria for 153, then I don't meet it, and then I have to jump over to 154, maybe I only get 2. I'm hoping to get 3, but they've approved one of them already. And if I go forward, I'll just, if
I
they
think
make it,
I think we should just issue that written permission. Cindy's gonna look at this anyway, before the building official can sign an approval for a building permit, she has to be the first person
Yeah.
to oversee this whole thing.
Yeah.
That's her job.
Yeah.
Our job is just to give him written permission to
do
go
it.
forward.
Well, that's what I was saying in the first place, just give them the permission to move forward to meet other town offices. If we apply to other town offices.
Rather than table
Because
it.
I don't care if there's one house going up there, 3 houses going up there, or 5 houses going up there.
In order for him to move forward,
Well-
we've got to give him permission tonight.
We can't do anything.
And all the other,
And then the other protective measures that the town has will go into play, and Cindy will take care of it and look at it.
Exactly.
Those are out of our hands, but we're not here to approve the plans or
Just
this or
written
anything, it's just to
permission.
give him written permission.
To get a
All
building
right.
permit.
Yeah,
And I would make that motion that we give him a written permission to obtain a building permit.
I second that.
Mike,
All right,
Oh,
there's a
he's
motion
got
and a
it.
second.
He's got a motion on the table.
and then two get the.
Yeah.
motion
I'll
and
withdraw my second.
I will withdraw.
Okay, Alvin, go ahead.
Okay.
And I will second Alvin's
You
motion.
withdraw.
So the motion
current
is
motion on the table is,
giving written
Yeah.
approval for,
Issuing of a building permit. That's all we're required to do.
Yeah,
to apply for a building permit. We don't even issue
Yeah.
the building permit.
All we're gonna do, a
We can even
written
write
permission
permission
for the
to do it.
issuance of for a building permit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, all right.
That's all we're gonna give him written permission
to
to
go
go.
get the permit.
Okay, so the issuance of a building permit. Does everybody understand
Permission
that?
to get the Permission to get the building permit.
To apply for it, not,
Apply
yes,
for a
apply,
building permit.
Permission to apply for the building
We're not,
permit.
yeah.
was everybody clear on that?
Yes,
We have a motion and a second.
yes.
So the motion is the Planning and Zoning Commission shall give written permission to apply for a building.
Building
Yes.
permit.
Yes,
And then he's gotta go all those
Yeah.
hoops anyway.
yeah,
Let him do the job.
yeah, let him
Okay.
do all the jumping and Cindy and all the other offices.
Does anyone have any question on what the motion is?
No, good.
It's just to allow him to apply to get the issuance of a permit.
Yes.
A yes vote approves his
Approves the granting of the permission,
granting the permission. No is,
does not.
okay, does not. Brian,
Brian Santos, I'll abstain.
Dave Pafolsky, no, based on what we're supposed to be voting on for criteria in the ordinance. I vote no. I have to say why I'm voting no.
Charlie Langlois, no, because I wanna see the road and the houses and who takes care of it. I wanna know who does. the
Alvin Hill,
roads.
yes.
Mike,
I'm going to say no because we don't have all the current information.
What was that again?
No.
Okay, just checking. I thought you started.
What's your
for a
vote?
minute.
John,
My vote? Oh, no.
Jane Salsa, yes.
Ray Williams, yes.
guys,
Kaiser Levesque, no.
Randy Blackmer, yes,
Motion fails.
motion fails.
So now what?
So now,
Give us some, like.
Well, now we'll come back with what the information we're looking for.
Okay, so the specific information you're asking from him is, let's articulate it. Clearly.
Who takes care of the road?
Well,
That's
Mr. Chair,
that's not-
That's not-
John?
like,
Mr.
I'm-
Paplowski.
I was just gonna call you
No.
Commissioner Poplar. But like he said in the beginning, you know. We've been we've been having this all come up in front of us, and every time we have something new come in front of us, or something from this or that. We need to stick to a stand, and it is, you know, we're not holding them, I see what he wants to do. But again, didn't have all the information. You know, you got one, yes, I agree. But that doesn't tell me that 2 and 3 are gonna pass. Okay, so if he just did his due diligence, when the CEO comes back, go to the building office, get NDDH down, let
Done
them.
it all.
It's all about
I've done all
building permit. on an-
But it wasn't enough information for us to make that decision, sir. Okay, that's how I'm looking at it.
Okay, anyone else, well, we made the vote, that means,
It's done.
I personally do not like new business being voted on. At the first meeting. It is just.
That's something we have to change.
Yeah, we have.
yes.
The whole thing
David.
So I can
is
give
an
this gentleman
unacceptable road.
Some sort of guide.
We're gonna have.
Let David have,
people-
David's got the floor.
If you could come back and just detail the plan where that third proposed house, I'm not even saying, you know, it might go between 151, 154. Give us a set of plans next month that shows where that is. So we can individually go down there, look at and fulfill our part of the
I
ordinance.
totally understand, no disrespect, but you're not voting on the plan. You're
Right.
You're not
That's
voting
right.
on the plan should have nothing. I could come here with 0 plans, everything. I should have probably done that. And said, hey, I want to build, can you give me permission to go to planning and zoning and try to get this feasibly done? And you had no plans at all in front of you, and you could have said yes or no.
I would have kicked it back to you and said, I want to drive by this. I want to see what we're voting on. As a
Fair
commissioner,
enough,
as a
but-
commissioner, that's what we're here to do.
And then I'd rather you tell me that, hey, your plans mean nothing to me. I don't care about them. I just want to look at the road.
Yeah.
That
wanna-
means more to me than you telling me I have to bring you back a full set of plans, everything else. You're not really voting on any. of this.
Max. Next time you come, you, not one house, two, all three. Because if you go just for 2, you're gonna have to come back and go through this nonsense again.
No,
It's on an unaccepted road. You want all 3 lots. On an unaccepted road. You want a written permission for those 3 lots to get a building permit.
so,
It's not more complicated than that.
And that's why I brought up earlier that this new business was written incorrectly. He wasn't requesting to build 3 houses off a town accepted road.
He was
He was just asking for permission. And this is a request to build 3 houses. So this application
verbiage.
was wrong.
Yep.
Verbiage is all wrong.
Verbiage is all wrong.
Incorrect
So
road.
what you're saying, Mike, is you think this agenda item should have been Indian Run Road proposal just to build on an unaccepted
Yeah.
road.
Or permission to go forward
Yeah,
to the proper authorities.
See, this,
yeah.
I probably this is the hang up. Well,
right.
not against you.
That's the same way, Dave. I know you.
Cindy should have never sent you guys plans. I mean.
Personally, I
The
didn't
plans
like
don't have nothing to do with it.
I would have asked anyways. I personally
You're
would have
not
asked.
approving.
okay, so we've turned that down.
So what now, guys? What now?
Sorry.
The plans don't have nothing to do
Yeah,
with us.
no plans.
I understand.
If
I'm sorry.
we know that this is gonna come up at the next meeting, I think that we need to
Because I've been there.
inspect the road, if that's your question. Talk to the highway foreman, if that's your question.
So do I have to bring you plans with the 3rd house on it, even though you're not voting on that? But you know it's gonna be a 1-bedroom, 1 bath, so you know what's going there. You know everything that's going there, so you only want to see the road, and I don't have to bring you any other plans, anything. Because you're not voting any plans.
Answer for me, that is correct.
I agree with that.
I would agree.
Yeah, there's no reason to spend more money than you already have.
To me, it's just.
Oh, he's gonna have to do it anyways. I mean, that's,
Well, not if you don't approve it. Now, if you tell me I don't want it on that road and you shoot down, then I wouldn't spend any more money, about, 10,000 now. So I've cleared a lot, as far as I knew, until Cindy came with this obscurity that I was, I've done everything I could do. To proceed the right way with J&D and everything else. State of Connecticut. And there's one obscure passage with no real boundaries or anything for as far as what you guys are entitled to vote on and not. It's kind of so open-ended that there's no way to really, you're trying to vote on my plans when you're not supposed to be in. So these, it's.
We're not voting.
In fairness, guys, there's no way that a casual applicant could have found this ordinance. It is not in the published code of ordinances.
I know.
Ridiculous.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right,
Guys.
You find a lot of those.
unless somebody's got something real positive to add to this tonight, we'll move on.
So just to make
Sorry.
sure, I don't need any further plans from anybody,
No,
right?
you're good. Yeah.
Okay, review of ZBA minutes. Did you read the report in the packet?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
No questions.
No question.
That's good. Citizens' comments. Bill?
I just want to bring up a couple of points. One, this issue about roads has come up with Schoolhouse Pond and Wrightson Drive very recently at the Board of Selectmen. And what they've said is, for unaccepted roads, the town will not maintain them, they will not grade them, it's up to the landowners to take care of that. If the road's in good shape in the winter time, they will plow them. But that the highway foreman actually went to Schoolhouse Pond in Wrightson last year and said they weren't gonna plow them because they weren't maintaining. So if the highway foreman doesn't think the roads are in good enough shape for them to plow them, they won't plow them.
That's why I want to ask.
And they're not maintaining the private roads at all anymore.
Yeah.
It's up to the landowners to do that.
So that could be written in to we would give them approval to work to build on this unaccepted road, but he has to maintain it. I mean, in the.
It should be a part of the written record somewhere.
That's
I
what
know,
I'm
that's the
saying.
thing, we just.
So we don't know what
Minutes approval, which is not even a motion.
I'm sorry.
You might not want to do that.
Well, and then,
Well, no, but if you got the verbiage in there, the verbiage has to be there for better clarification of what yes or no can be. That's how I'm looking at it, I mean. It's like anything else, we go by the ordinance, the town ordinance is what governs our regulations, what we do for regulations.
I'm sorry, is there any name? Bill Warner. Bill Warner.
Okay, and we also use this, some of the state statutes too, that can help to govern
Okay.
what we're doing, so.
Valerie's online. What's the-
Oh, Bill's good. Well,
Valerie?
Hi, Valerie Clark, Alm Road. I just want to make sure that the chair is clear on why I called point of order earlier. I get very disappointed in this commission when I see citizens not treated fairly. And in one of your agenda items, you refused to recognize a citizen's comment when their hand was raised. Yet during another agenda item, you allowed a citizen to comment without even raising their hand. That's why I called point of order. It should not have been allowed.
Okay, thank you.
Bill's the board.
Bill?
Yeah, just two other things I wanted to bring up. One is, I remember Jill's restaurant, and I remember the issue there was she did entertainment without filing for an entertainment license. And which is under a different category. You just gave her a permit under section 213. It's section 223 if you want an entertainment license in that district. And that was the issue with Gil's Bistro, is she was never issued an entertainment license. And then the other thing is I wanted to raise my hand during the application for Old Davis Road because I'm actually the abutter there. And I want to know what's the difference between a subdivision and a re-subdivision? Because my lot was broken off of her lot originally.
I can explain that. So it was determined that when her lot was split off your lot, that was what is referred to as a free split. So there's an escalation. It goes free split, subdivision, re-subdivision. There can't be a re-subdivision until there's a subdivision. The free split is not a subdivision. It gets very confusing because it's all different ways in which land is divided, but subdivision is a legal term and it has not yet been subdivided.
Okay, so I can now subdivide my.
If there has been no other subdivision since the free split, that is correct.
All right,
Just real quick too, comment about. Jill G's place. I thought it was an application. Jill never had anything about bands. Or entertainment period on her application. I think the difference is this one, yeah, this one does.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah,
Jill
Jill
came in
didn't-
to
Jill
amend
didn't do
hers.
it.
The only
It
reason us
wasn't-
would be.
It wasn't, it wasn't that she didn't do it, she was. When they were looking at the wordage, she picked something that she thought included that and it didn't include it.
Well, there were
And
two
no one
different
was-
processes.
right,
What she did apply for was the license with, I think it's the liquor
The
commission.
liquor and.
Yeah,
And you
in there,
indicate
you
the
indicate that.
styles of
Yeah.
entertainment. And then she came to planning and zoning to amend her existing permit and she wanted to match them up.
Right.
But the category she had chosen
At the liquor, because she was under the assumption that.
was not
Not
the
the
category that
category.
she
Yeah.
really meant to
Right.
choose.
Very good,
Yeah.
thank you.
all right, so,
district for entertainment, you need a special permit. According to your regulations.
What's it, 20?
23.
23, that's correct.
23 is for entertainment and you need a
Isn't it?
special permit.
okay, so moving on. We'll review the ZBA minutes. Anyone any questions on what was in the report in the packet? Hearing none, citizens' comments, I guess we've been having that, having that as we speak. Commissioners' comments? Hearing none, the next meeting, we've got special meeting, Zoom meeting, January.
July
June,
5th.
yeah, January was better.
July 5th,
5th.
7 to 9 PM on Zoom, and I'll get the link out within a day or two.
Correct,
Yep,
July
thank
what?
you.
Fifth,
Wednesday the 5th.
July 5th is Tuesday,
Yeah, That's
Wednesday.
next Wednesday.
Wednesday, excuse me.
What are we talking about? The fifth?
I got you covered.
Next meeting.
Next meeting is the 24th of July.
Well,
regular.
no,
regular.
yes, the next meeting would be the 24th, but the special meeting is the next meeting.
Special meeting.
With a possible another meeting after that,
Only if you need it. That's why I want to do it
Well,
early in the month.
like Brian said, we might have to. Talk that thing up, that other discussion.
All right,
Special meeting on the fifth. I thought it was the seventh.
Yes.
Right?
it's the 5th. Special meeting is on the 5th, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
Wednesday, July 5th, 7 to 9 PM on Zoom, link to be
Oh, on Zoom, good.
forwarded within a day or two.
17.
Right.
Make a motion to,
Go ahead.
no, no,
I was gonna do the same thing.
great minds,
Great minds think alike.
make a motion that we adjourn this meeting.
I'll second it.
Meeting adjourned at 9 o'clock.
Good evening, everyone.
Yeah.